Tell me about, you had talked about calming the nervous system and reducing stress. And I'm really interested in how it kind of calms the nervous system and where you tap. What are the key points? Like, why do you do eyebrows and why do you do, patting sort of the side of your back?
Okay, so these points have been identified as meridian points, and these are if anybody has ever had acupuncture or acupressure, reflexology, anything like that. They are all different energy points around the body that store negative energy, and as humans, we are energy, and if you don't release energy, you don't unclog this, it manifests and it stays stuck in your body. And that I sort of said before is that sometimes can if you're really stressed, you'll get neck pain or back pain, and you can't release that. Maybe you'll have a massage, but these energy points are they've been identified, and there's other ones as well. There's ones on your fingers and your wrist points. There's other ones, but some of them, so if we've got the collarbone, are where we would naturally touch if we need comfort, or we put on our hands on our collarbone if we're sort of like we're in shock. We've got one on the back of our we've got one on the side of our back is where we'd get a hug. So it's very natural. If you've got a worry, you'd put your hands on the side of your eyes, like, oh, you're trying to think. Sometimes on your chin. So it's a weird instinctive place that we would put our hands, but the tapping does feel strange. If you've never done it before, you kind of think, what the hell am I doing? But they have been identified, and you'll sometimes find that when you're doing tapping, even if you are not a believer, you don't understand it, you will maybe start yawning. You might feel very tearful, emotional, very tired, and it's your body's way of releasing energy. And it's just, you'll probably, if you've ever had reflexology, they say to drink lots of water because you need to go to the toilet, you need to go to the bathroom more often. So you are expelling the toxins and you're helping flowing energy back through your body, and it's positive. So you've got the physical tapping, and then you've got the statements, the acceptance statements. And people, especially if you've come from maybe a psychological background, you might understand about CBT, you might have had therapy. And we are starting with the negative. We're saying what is going on. We're not pulling any punches. We are literally saying, I have this terrible anxiety, it's knocking me sick, I can't concentrate, I'm exhausted, I'm depressed. And you're saying that, you're giving a voice, and you're going to be repeating, the coach will be sort of saying to you the words back to you, because you will have had a whole conversation about it, and you are feeling validated because what you're thinking and what you're feeling is okay. You're accepting it. And as we go round and you carry on doing the tapping, other perspectives will come up, other thoughts, other feelings, and it might not be connected to the drinking. It might be something to do with something that happened back in college, or in your first year of working, and you felt that you weren't achieving, or you weren't meant to be there, or it's so many different things can come into your head, and you'll tap around a memory, or you'll tap around one specific sentence that somebody said to you that just keeps coming back to you when you just don't feel you're good enough. And we want to get to the root of that. It's not healthy to be ruminating and thinking about something that happened 20 years ago that still has an impact on your life right now when you have moved on. Is not healthy. So we need to release that and bring it to the surface in a healthy and safe way. Accept that happened, and we'll find better ways to cope with it. We'll find different ways to look at it, and that is why it's a great modality, especially for people who are looking at stopping drinking.
And so, question for you, I did do the great video that you did on drinking and tapping and drinking cravings. And you're absolutely right in the beginning. And you'll see this if you listen to it. And I'm going to have it in the show notes of this episode. Kate is like giving voice to what a lot of people are thinking and feeling when they're going through a craving. I want that glass of wine. I deserve it. I need it. this is my one treat, this, all the things. And I actually, in the beginning, as a coach who helps people stop drinking, was like, okay, is this good, or can this be triggering, and can it be reinforcing um all the negative thoughts? Because I do believe a lot of the work is around mindset change and realizing that drinking just adds a problem to a problem. And that was probably the first 2 minutes of the video. And then as I went on, and it's the exact process you just described. Other thoughts came in, and Kate started talking about, like, but is there, and this is while you're tapping your chest and you're tapping your chin and around your face, and but is there another way to calm, and will that really help me, and I did, start feeling lighter and start feeling more calm. And that was really cool, because in the beginning I was like, ooh, I don't know, like, and that's what we do, right? We suppress all the thoughts that we're having, and whether it's about drinking or whether it's about anxiety or about work, like, we're like, I shouldn't feel this way, I should be able to cope, I should, all the things. And it's true, when you suppress all those feelings, you don't get to resolve them, and you don't get to acknowledge that there is a reason that you feel like you want to drink. There is something going on underneath, and drinking is just the coping mechanism that you've gone to for years and years. And
Exactly.
it's the quickest way, to shut off your mind. But with EFT and with the work you're doing, if there is another way to quickly move through those feelings and feel better, and to be honest, distract yourself while doing physical acupuncture work that is really healthy, I think that's great. But my question is, how at the end do you resolve that, right? You go through tapping, you talk about the feelings and the self-acceptance and exactly where you're feeling now. You said new thoughts start coming up, but then what happens after that towards the end? How do you close that out?
Okay, so just going back to the video that you mentioned. So I did that video, and I don't expect anyone to come out of that video and think I'm never going to drink again. But I wanted to be able to sort of just show how you can tap for cravings for alcohol, along with cravings for anything. Typically, if I'm doing a one-to-one session with somebody, it would last for an hour, and we would go through maybe 4 or 5 different rounds, and you'd go through that. But I don't want to put a positive spin. I worked in PR for a really long time,
Yeah.
and I am not putting a positive spin on something that can't be sorted out in an hour. And if there's deep rooted issues, I want to get to the root of those issues, and tap on those. And the thing with EFT is sometimes it's very repetitive. We can be repeating the same word. If that one word is something that you're really honing in on, embarrassment, shame, anxious, whatever it is, and that is something that's really holding you back, and you keep getting back to that feeling, I'll be tapping on that feeling and that word for a while with my client. So the way we close it, say, the beginning of a session, I'd be saying, how intense is this feeling for you right now? And I'd say, rate it from 0 to 10. How intense do you want to have that glass of wine right now, after a busy day? And I'll kind of like give them a picture of whatever it is they'll describe to me. They'll say, I come home from work, my kids are driving me mad, I've had a long drive home, whatever is going on, that they will instinctively reach for that glass of wine as part of their process of winding down. And we'll work around that. And I say, how intense does that feeling, how intense is it for you? And they could say, it's an 8 right now, or it's a 9 right now. That's how intense my craving is. And I'll want to get, at the end of that session, maybe down to a 6 or a 7. So my aim is not to get them down from a 9 to a 0. Maybe for the next session, we'll see where they are. If they're still at that 6 or 7, brilliant. That means that the first session is worked. They're not as intense with the craving, and we'll just keep trying to get it down. So I'm not trying to say, and I don't feel like a glass of wine anymore, and it's all fine because I will have a glass of water instead, and I will go for a walk, and everything will be fine. But I will be bringing in ideas with them with, you know, a lot of it is their words, and I could be tapping with them saying, and what other options do you have? And they
Mhm.
can say, well, actually, I really enjoy running. And then I'd be like, that's amazing. Okay, so maybe instead of having a glass of wine, just for one night of the week, I'll try a run. Or maybe I can go and listen to a podcast and take the dog for a walk.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and we'll hone in on what they are offering.